G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for episode number, what are we up to, 43 I think, of the ATV Skater Templar playthrough. This episode is going to be the Ancient Grove. So with that in mind, let's get underway and head on over to the Ancient Grove. Now Garabal is the last boss of the Ancient Grove. He does a lot of fire damage, both from him and also from the environment, but he also does poison damage and piercing damage, and obviously physical damage, and some chaos damage as well. So he does a lot of different damage types. His auto attack, unlike Shazul, does not shred resistances, which is nice. But he does still shred resistances, according to grimtools.com. He will shred up to 30 to all of your resistances. Garabal is the boss that I was most worried about for all of these dungeons. So for the first run through here, I have prepared some additional defenses in the form of all the drugs. So every type of damage he does, I have a resistance potion for it. I have all of the royal jelly stuff that's going to give me regen and increase effects for my healing. And I also have an elixir of the ancients just for that little bit extra offensive ability. Right, so I have the map. I also have done a quick run through here previously whilst farming Ugden Blooms. Let's just get back in the skater mindset. I've been playing Death Knight and I am nowhere near that tanky anymore. Okay, the other thing to note in here is that I do have Nemesis with the beasts. So we may be getting a twofer in this video. We may be running into Chupacabra as well. He has a lot of spawn locations in this dungeon, and I will be fighting him at some point, whether it's in this run or not. Chupacabra is a regular in these dungeons. It's not going to be rare like it was with the Chthonian Benjar. So, this is the first area here. There's one more location where Koopa could be, and after that it's basically just the guy in front of the door, and I'm not expecting any issues from him. There is also a couple of secrets actually. Now, I think it's this one. I think this is part of some quest or something, because I've never been able to get these vines open, like, ever. So I know there's something behind there. I know it's a hidden spoils, but I have never been able to get those vines open. So if someone knows what those are for, or how to open those vines, let me know in the comments, because it actually annoys me that I can't open those. Okay. Just up here there is also a hidden section, which I will try to open here in a second. Silver Sentinel stuff. And that's the end of him. Okay. Just along here, where is it? It's here, isn't it? Just duck in here, and there's some hidden remains. Where is it? I saw it. It's here somewhere. There it is. Okay. Found it in the end. So there's some hidden remains there. As usual, all that sort of stuff, you're not going to find much in the way of valuable loot. But, it's just fun, you know? I just enjoy opening those things. It's a little bit of extra loot for, you know, reward your game knowledge. Alright. So that's the end of him. What was that? Glory of the Silver Knight. I had a feeling that was another piece of the Silver Sentinel set. Okay, so no Koopa on this level. The boss in front of the door here, Ragaroth just there. Not expecting any issues from him either. So we will just do our usual skate back and forth trick, and he should go down. As with all of the door guardians, you cannot open the door until you kill him. So that's the end of him. And in we go. So the first floor is called the Feral Thicket. Now there's a few things on this floor. most obvious one is going to be Chupacabra. Has, what's that, 3? 2 potential spawns for Koopa. Next up thing is the Manticore Deathstalker, spawns on this floor. You will know when you find him because he is a kind of white, ghostly Manticore. He is the only monster in the game that can potentially drop the blueprint for the Deathstalker relic, which lets you summon a player-scaled pet that will shred physical and something else. But it's mostly used on physical builds, I think. It's one of the items I used on the physical Archon build that probably most of you have seen by now. Unless you're new to the channel, that was my very first video series. And for anyone who wants to watch it, I apologize for the audio. It's not the audio's fault, but you know, I'm going to apologize for it anyway. Okay, so the Deathstalker is this one here. See, he's kind of white and ghostly. He should go down pretty easy. Level 111. Yeah, jeez. Yeah. Alright. The other two things of note on this floor is this down here. So this dungeon is kind of Aether and Chaos competing. So this Trail of Corruption is the reliquary event, and obviously we're going to do that because I like loot. Not a big fan of the crabs though. Let's just get rid of these. Now the big thing with Garabal that I'm worried about is actually not all the elemental damage, because we have just crazy amounts of resistances. What I'm worried about is his auto attack. Because similar to Shazul, he actually hits quite hard. All the fire coming out of the environment doesn't help either. So, like I said, Shazul, or not Shazul, sorry, Garabal is the main one that I was worried about. Where is my chest? There it is. So it's going to be interesting. Alright, next up on the list of things that are important to talk about this floor is the Merchant. This is Vinylton. We have been here before in, I think I did it in Elite, but it may have been in Normal. But we've been here before to pick up the blueprint for the Prismatic Diamond. So Vinylton sells actually a lot of blueprints. So what does he got for us today? Elixir of Mogdrogan, so pet stuff. Abyssal Mask. Prismatic Diamond again. I swear this is here first time you open this vendor in every difficulty. Leviathan. I didn't know that was a blueprint. How about that? Pretty good for a physical soldier build. Wish I knew someone who was playing one of them. But yeah, so he also will sell you all of the Creeping and Living Ring MIs. And the Basilisk medals as well. So if you're looking for those, this is probably the best place to get it. Oh, he sells a soldier belt. Yeah, didn't know that. I'm not really surprised because he basically sells the MIs for the area around him. Right, so up in this top left corner, you can potentially find a totem. It doesn't look like the totem is here today, but alright, this guy needs to go. The golems really need to go. And it would be very nice if I could stop being stunned. Okay, so there can be a totem up here, there can be a Chupacabra up here. Neither of them are there today, but that's fine. Generally speaking, when I'm doing this area, I do come up the left side and then across the top. However, we are going to be making a slight detour today, because... Oh, hang on, let's just get rid of this guy first. In the middle is another... I guess it's kind of a boss room here. This is... what's his name? Slath's Ather Gaze. It's basically a basilisk. And from memory, this area ends up covered in Aether Fire, or Aether damage. Probably petrifies you as well. So this guy's MI, I'm pretty sure, is the metal that lets you do Aether damage for, or Aether conversion for Panetti's. Yeah, there it is. 100% elemental convert to Aether. Adds weapon damage too, so it'll let you leech. Right, so that is this little boss room. I'm going to head down to the south here just to make sure that Chupacabra didn't spawn in this area. I would rather fight him on this floor than on the next floor. Obviously, don't always get that choice. His spawn location is right here, so Koopa's not here. But Ggazer is, so take care of him. He kind of wanders up and down the right-hand side of this area, and this is his MI. Amulet +1 to Inquisitor. Word of renewal. I've never used that in a build. Probably never will. Alright, so that's the right side of the area.
I can't do that yet.
There is also that ancient sarcophagus, which I should go open. It's free loot. And there's also in this tower here a hidden chest. Don't get that every day. Usually you open them and you get 3 random rare items. Right, so let's go ahead and open this chest, which I did actually forget about. And I don't have it all filtered out. I filtered out the res. I'm not interested in res. I've just piles of bits at this point, and no idea what to spend them on. Okay, so next floor, there is a guard in front of it from memory. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. It's been a while since I've been in here. I don't normally farm this area. Garabal's pistols is not something I've done a build with, so... The last time I was in here to farm was to get the Stalker relic for... I actually used it on my Death Knight briefly. So, that was a while ago. I think... No, the Archon would have been the last time I was actually in here to farm something. I come in here on most characters to get the Prismatic Diamond, but the last time I actually farmed something would have been the Deathstalker relic for the Archon. Okay, so this next floor you're going to have a lot of Aether Corruption and a lot of Chaos Corruption. So these Aether Snakes, there's going to be a lot of these, and there's going to be a lot of Chaos Corruption as well. Where are we? We're down the bottom. I'm just going to update the map. So on this floor, again, potentially Kuba. He's got 2 spawn locations, and this here is access to a secret area, inside of which is a whole bunch of ethereal stuff, and then as we get to the top there'll be a whole bunch of chaos stuff. But also there is another totally normal shield, or sorry, totally normal mace. Flesh Swap Spoils, Exalted Chest, another Flesh Swap Spoils. And there's probably a bunch of rares in there, but I'm not picking up. But that's fine. And then, like I said, as we get closer to the top, we're going to start encountering Chaos Corruption. So it does look like we may not be getting a Chupacabra this run, which is, you know, unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Yeah, I'm definitely close enough to his last spawn point. He would have shown up by now if he was coming. He lives here. So. Unfortunately, no Kuba this time. And the second floor doesn't really have anything of note aside from that little hidden area. and it does have a totem as well. So with that in mind, let's move on to the boss. You can see the area is starting to be caught on fire now. And the boss door will be just here. Alright, so things to note about Garabal. 1, he has a truckload of damage on his auto attack. 2, he spawns volcanoes underneath you, similar to Ggazer. These volcanoes do percentage health damage though, so you can't really resist them, you just have to not get hit by them. And after his first phase, I think it's only in the second phase, the tree in the middle will start spitting fire. It may be the first phase too, because this looks like one of the places where the fire comes from. So, fingers crossed. Let's drink all our potions. This is probably going to turn out to be overkill, but I'd rather be overkill and not dead. So, what does this one give? +1 to Arcanist. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so Garabal, 2 phases. His first and his second phase both have 2 million and 2.6 million, I think it is, hit points. So he is going to be on par with Shazul for both of his phases. Also, all these little glowy things, they're getting ready to spit fire at me. I thought I saw a volcano, but I think that's actually my volcano. So this is all the poison damage. I do think I'm going to spend a lot of this fight running away from him. I think that's enough to get into his second phase. Okay, so the fire is going to start now. Here he is, big fireman. I'm going to try and get him to stay in one place as much as I can. Okay, I see a volcano, I'm leaving. That definitely tickled. So let's just pause here for a second. Prismatic Rage, so that is from the helmet, that is a death save. Resilience, that is also a death save. Arcane Will, that's, you took some damage, that's going to be up. Dryad's Blessing is the proc on here, that's the heal. Giant's Blood also triggered. There's a lot of death saves on there. One thing that didn't trigger was Azrakar's Sand, so we were never below 25%. Let's go ahead and look at the loot. So he dropped his MI ring. His MI ring is ridiculous. Look at that. Look at all that resist. Bleeding, Aether, 81% poison and acid. That is crazy amounts of resistances. I'm going to ignore the cold resist percentage because it's a dead stat as far as I'm concerned. But that may have just replaced my other ring. The core of Garabal, one-handed range. This is the blue version. There is also a purple version. Pretty nice, pretty nice. One day I'm going to make a gun build. Actually, it's looking like the Purifier is going to be the next build. Okay, so the Transcendent chest here, this is where, if it drops, the Vanquisher Set is going to come from that chest. So we'll leave it till last. And then after that we can cue the montage. We can grab that as well. Okay, so fingers crossed. Where is it? There it is. Bilgothian armor, don't really cares. Alright, here we go. First shot, Vanquisher Set, Void Steel, Stone Feather, Blood Knights. So, no dice, unfortunately. But yeah, that is the Ancient's Groove, and go ahead and cue the montage, and I'll see you after it. Alright, there it is. A massive 4 runs in order to get the Vanquisher's Mantle there. In terms of the actual dungeon itself, it's fairly straightforward. Most of the dungeon is relatively non-threatening. I will say though that Garabal is sketchy as fuck. Like, he is really, really sketchy. If you end a dash on one of his volcanoes, you just die. I had the Ather Gaze proc twice out of the 4 kills. The first one, I can't remember if you saw it, but yeah, I killed him 4 times, and this thing triggered twice. So Garabal himself is super sketchy. I would not recommend farming this gear on a hardcore character as a first character. No way. You're going to die. In fact, I'm shocked that this character is still alive. With that said though, that is all of the Vanquisher set farmed, so now I've got to do some gear juggling in order to make this work. And I will do probably one more video on this character, just to kind of show it off. I think I have the rest of the gear, except probably the book, on my main, I guess, save file, where I keep all of my level 100 characters that I consider to be finished, or at least, you know, no longer needing to be on the same save file. So yeah, I will throw this together, and then I will probably, as I said, make one more video kind of showing the end build. I may have to farm a better Xathuzalin's archive, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that'll be it for this episode, so thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.